Hello. Okay, I'm still getting used to looking directly into the camera and talking. So today I wanted to talk about, and my notes are here, how to support your nervous system in difficult times. I feel like me and a lot of other people I know are going through a lot of transitions. And then there's a lot of things going on in the world, and I can't emphasize enough how much our nervous systems are important for allowing us to move forward. I think of it as vital for us to support our nervous systems, for us to be able to move forward, both for ourselves and for our communities. So if you think about it, if we're facing a challenge or a change where we are ready and we can feel in our hearts, to follow our hearts, that it's time to leave our job and follow our passion, that it's time to help our community, whatever it is, to detach from current systems, for example. The thing that will prevent us from doing that, that will bounce us out of that, is if our nervous systems are not capable of processing it or capable of holding us to move forward. So learning how to take care of our nervous system, and I'm not, the expert. I've studied nervous system regulation, but I'm not going to say that you shouldn't. I'm going to recommend you go further in your studies for it, but just I want to talk about the connection of taking care of your nervous system and moving forward with your heart, moving forward to build our communities the way that we want them to, how much it's important for us to take care of our nervous systems. So if we can't take care of our nervous systems will bounce out. Like, we won't be able to handle even the idea of leaving our job, right? We won't be able to see the truth of the way that our communities are functioning now, the way that we are participants in current systems, if we don't have the capacity in our nervous system. So it's so important. And so what I would say is that the first step, I would say, in taking care of our nervous system would be to start to recognize and look for what your patterns are when you are dysregulated. So I learned, there's the classic, identifying your classic fight, flight, or freeze. Do you fight, flight, or freeze? And then also trying to start to recognize that when you are in that state, that you recognize it in the moment, so then you can take care of yourself. Start to recognize, or recognize it in the past, whatever is progress for you. The second thing with that thing is to so also recognize what your go-to habits are. So for me, I might not recognize my response is flight. Oh, and I have tea here. That's something I wanted to start to have more tea during my videos, because tea is so grounding and nourishing for me. This is reishi tea, and I want to talk about topics that can be hard to talk about or confronting and all of that, but I also want to show that it's possible to have a space that we can talk about these things and think about them, but they can also be a safe space we hold for ourselves. We can take care of ourselves through talking about it. So here's some of my reishi tea, which I'm using to rebuild my nervous system and stress responses. So, so for my habit, my kind of what one of my teachers, Nisha Moodley, says, fire alarm, is when I am on the go constantly. Like, it's like I don't let myself take a second to slow down. And I'll feel like this kind of compulsive doing things. that feels like, you know, once one activity is done finishing, I'm thinking already of what my next activity is, but it feels compulsive, and it feels like I have to be, and what I'm seeing now, it's like I have to be in my head and my mind instead of in my body. So that's like my number one fire alarm. And then when I start to see that, I try to take space in, let's say, meditation, to sit and be like, what is it that I'm avoiding to feel? And sometimes I can only feel it for 1 second, and I'm not prepared to go deeper into it. But the only way to even go deeper into it with time is by nourishing my nervous system, so I have the kind of energy reserves to then go deeper into it. Yes, so that is a practice that now that I see that fire alarm, it's very helpful. And a lot of the time it's very interesting because I won't even realize, it'll be so subconscious that I am avoiding feeling something. Okay. So then the next thing I would say is that's important is knowing, figuring out for you what works when you're dysregulated. So is it, what are the things that nourish you? One thing that's important is, I believe for everyone, is learning self-compassion. Also different, you know, things, resources to go to. For me, I love sound bowl meditations. That really works very well for me. Obviously meditation, walking, you know, yoga. But for me, it's a lot of the times it's like things that are very accessible at the moment. I can just go on a walk out in nature. That really helps. Baths is something big for me as well. So this is a little bit about supporting your nervous system in difficult times, and I do think it's so vital for us moving forward, both to build the type of world that we want to, and also for our personal healing journeys to live a more heart-centered life.